Good morning. It's another beautiful Saturday morning, and I'm very happy to know that you are still with us on OGBC 90.5 FM. It's another Saturday, no doubt about that, and we're here for your educative and very interesting program, Feminine Scope on OGBC. It's all about inviting strong ladies and women who have achieved in their chosen careers. And why do we do this? We want this generation to learn a thing or two from them. And that's why they are usually here. Anyway, let's start from the very basics. My name is Toyin Sogbesan. You call me TS. And before you hear from my guests, I always like to motivate us with this short sayings. One says, life has got all those twists and turns. You've got to hold on tight and off you go. That's in the words of Nicole Kidman. On that note, I welcome my guest to the program, Mrs Mariam Afolashade Oresanya, a retired principal of Ilewo Community High School, Ilewo Orile, and she's now a school administrator. It's nice to have you on this program, huh?
Thank you, ma.
You're welcome. So, a retired principal,
yes,
great. Would like to know you. Who is Mariam Afolashade Oresanya? Who are your parents? Which schools did you attend? What was growing up like for you generally?
Thank you, ma. My name is Mrs Mariam Afolashade Oresanya. I was born on 13th June 1963 to the family of late Reverend Marcus Adedayo Idowu and Mrs Dorcas Adeshola Idowu of Ilugun-Alaro in Ijebu North-East local government area of Ogun State.
So what was growing up like for you, the schools you attended?
I started my primary education at Emmanuel Anglican Primary School, Ishoyin. So after the second year, my father was transferred because he was a teacher. So he was transferred to Ijebu. So I completed the primary education at St. Philip's Anglican School, Okeagbo in Ijebu. And after that, I proceeded to Ijebu Girls Grammar School, where I had my secondary education.
Wow. You are from Ilugun-Alaro.
Yes.
Did you grow up in Ilugun-Alaro?
I grew up in Ijebu. Ijebu and Ijebu.
How did Ishoyin come into the picture?
Ishoyin was where my daddy was when I was born. So
Okay.
I started primary education there.
Okay.
But after my primary 2, my daddy was transferred to Ijebu.
So where were you born exactly?
Ilugun-Alaro.
Okay, you were born in Ilugun-Alaro.
Yes.
And then taken to Ishoyin.
To Ishoyin.
And then
To
Ijebu.
Yes, ma'am.
Now I understand. So all the while it was in Ijebu axis. You didn't move
Yes.
out of Ijebu axis at all.
I didn't move out of Ijebu axis for a long time.
No Lagos life, no Ibadan life,
no Lagos
no
life,
Abeokuta life.
Because I was a daddy's girl.
Daddy's girl. How many were you from your parents?
3 of us from my mommy,
Okay.
then 3 from my stepmom.
Oh, you are from a polygamous setting.
Polygamous, so to say.
Why so to say? More than one is poly.
It's poly, but my father didn't have 2 at a time.
Oh, what happened?
He got separated with my mother,
Okay.
and he took the
Yes.
second one.
So growing up, really, amongst your 3 siblings, what number are you?
Number 2.
Number 2. How many boys, how many girls?
We are all girls.
All girls. Abigail. Your vote was Mrs. Abigail. I see. So all girls.
Yes.
And after the separation, how old were you
I was 8 years.
when your mom separated from your dad?
Yes.
So after the separation, your father took up the custody and
Yes,
you lived with him.
Yes.
What was life like living without your mother?
Life was good. I had it good living with them. It's only my sisters that had it rough and tough because they were not ready to submit to the stepmom. But I lived with my stepmom, and we were all doing fine. So the reason why I said I had it good is that my dad had a cliche then, that if my right eye doesn't like Mama Kemi, I will pluck it off.
Who is Mama Kemi? Your stepmom?
My stepmom. And if it is my right leg that will not submit to her, I will cut it off.
Eh?
So for that reason, and
you were scared?
Yeah, I was scared. And for my level-headedness, submissiveness, and brilliance, I was so endeared to my dad.
To your dad?
Yes.
Did he eventually cut any of his legs or pluck out his eyes?
I say it's a cliche, cliche. After some time, it will lose its meaning.
Yeah. Was there any time that you missed your mom, or you didn't grow up to know her?
I grew up to know her, but I used to tell people that my father is a serious polygamist. He was giving us everything that we needed. So I didn't miss her for a moment.
Let's now share your growing up years, because you grew up in Ijebu Axis, and
Yes.
I know that those days or years that you were growing up in Ijebu Axis, it wasn't as if you were living in the core city.
Yes.
You know, the setup is a semi-urban
Yes,
setting, semi-urban setting.
Yes.
So what was it like? Were you doing certain things that you felt that, oh, if I were to be in the city, at any rate, you didn't enjoy city life?
Yes.
Right. So what were you doing? Were you going to the stream, or you had everything at your beck and call?
My father as a teacher,
Okay.
it's like we were in the middle class.
Okay.
So it's not like I was lacking anything. And our lives were routine. Go to school, come back, go to church, come back, no other thing. It would not even allow you to go and visit friends. So get inside there.
Okay, get inside. Get inside children.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting.
But my sisters, one lived in Lagos, one lived in Abeokuta here.
Oh.
But, because I happen to be daddy's beloved.
So you stayed with daddy all through.
Yes.
After your secondary school education at Ijebu Girls, was it grammar or high school?
Ijebu Girls Grammar School.
All right. You proceeded to which institution?
To Muslim Teacher Training College
in
Oru, Ijebu. Though after finishing at Ijebu Girls Grammar School, the result was not good to take me to the university. So my daddy got me an auxiliary teaching job. So I taught for that 1 year. We were not privileged then to write 4 or 5 exams in a year. If you fail one, you will have to go and wait for the following year. So I taught for that 1 year as auxiliary teacher. So before proceeding to that teacher training college. So after teacher training college, I went to Ogun State College of Education in Ijagun. So I finished there.
Okay. You didn't proceed to the university?
I proceeded to
I
the
want
university.
to know now.
Okay. After finishing at Ogun State College of Education, though it took me some years before I went back for my degree, because then I had thought I wanted to end it there. But my daddy kept on coming and telling me, you have to go back. Those that are not as brilliant as you are, they have had their degree, go back to school and the rest. So eventually, I was admitted to Olabisi Onabanjo University.
You are Ijebu maid. You are 100%
100%
Ijebu maid.
100%.
Obanta.
Yes,
that's quite interesting. One thing I learned from your journey is that you are 100% made teacher.
Yes. After the first degree, I still went to National Open Universities for my master's. And I studied educational administration and planning.
Oh, that's interesting. So from secondary to teacher training, from teacher training to college of education, from college education to university to read education. What this education, English or mathematics?
English
CRS. English CRS.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. So after the university, you started work.
I started work after my NC.
Oh.
Yes.
Where did you work?
I started at Ayepe Comprehensive High School. Ijebu again. Before I was transferred to Olumo High School in Abeokuta here. Okay. Then after Olumo, I was transferred to Premier Grammar School. After Premier Grammar School, Lafenwa High School. So from there, I became a vice principal and was posted to Unity High School, Kajola, Iboru.
Oh, Iboru.
Yes, in Wode, or something. Okay. So, and from there, I redeployed back to Itori Comprehensive High School.
Why did you redeploy?
That time, my children, they have all left home. So I have daddy alone at home. So,
wow. Another great one, you've been able to move through the 3 senatorial districts of Ogun State. Yes. That's interesting. I would have said Riye, but you did not go through Remo, because I noticed that you went through Ijebu, Egba division, Yewa division, but you didn't go through Remo division. So that one is missing. Now I have basis for comparison, because all the while we're talking about Ijebu, you now lived in Ijebu and you moved to Egba, you stayed there, and then you stayed in Yewa. Can you compare those 3 axes or life for you in those 3 axes?
All right, thank you. While at Ijebu, one thing that I know about Ijebu is that Ijebu people, we love education. We love education. Ijebu people are ready to put all they have into education. You can see the old students, the old boys, old girls, and even the philanthropists. You will see them investing so heavily in education in Ijebu. But in Egba, I don't see much of that in Egba. Yewa too, I don't see much of that too in Yewa. Because there was a school I was posted to as a principal, Community High School, Agbo-Ojodu. In fact, the day I got there, I said, is this a school in Ogun State? I couldn't believe what I was seeing. But it's one of those things. So later, I also came back to Ilewo Community High School to complete my principalship.
Wow. So you retired at Ilewo
Community
How
High
many
School.
years did you work for as a teacher?
34 years and 3 months.
As a teacher and principal?
As a teacher and principal.
Wow. So all your life is about education.
It's about education.
Beautiful. In that case, compare education when you were in school and then when you were working, and education now that you are out of service. 3 phases.
Yes.
During your own time as a student, during your time as teacher and principal, and then when you left the system.
Thank you. When we look at education when I was a student, our education then was a bit tough in the sense that you just have to. It is either you break or you bend, most especially in terms of discipline. We were so disciplined then. We were time conscious, going to school very early. In our school, we would trek about some kilometers before we got to the school. But it was fun to us because we would go in groups, in batches. We would go. And education then, government, I don't know, was seriously investing in education. And then, you know, when we were in school then, the school was charging fees. But when we started work, I discovered that with the free education of a thing, it's like some children that were not ready, parents that were not ready, they were bringing their children and without making necessary provision. So we were having that problem. In our own days, you can't be in the school without having necessary school materials, textbooks, and the rest. But when I started working, we see a lot of that. That students will just come to school. They may not even have a size book to write with. They may not even put on socks and the rest. And we were looking at them, what is happening? And it's like the level of seriousness in our own time was not so much there when I started working. because we have examples of students who knew that they were coming for exam, external exam for that matter. Exam that will start 9 o'clock, you see them strolling in by 9:25, 9:10. And when you ask them, they will give you one flimsy excuse or the other. And the discipline too then, when we first started work, discipline was still okay. Our parents were not complaining that their children were beaten and the rest. But we will see that all of a sudden, before I exited the teaching profession, it has gotten so bad that parents do not even want you to even touch their children. They don't want you to discipline them in any way. And coupled with the child rights law, you don't beat, you don't do this, so it makes the children, the students, to be complacent to their education. The level of seriousness was not as it was in
during
our
your
own time.
Now that outside the system, what do you see?
I'm out of the system and I'm still in the system. Because we have a school that we are running. It's a private school, but you see that what we were experiencing at the tail end of my career in the public school was still also featuring. You will see parents complaining that their children were beaten and the rest. And when we even devised the punishment template for our teachers, now, okay, don't beat any pupil. If they do this, do this. At the end of the day, you will still see they put calls through to you even in the night. Your teacher, a teacher asked my child to kneel down, and since she came back from school now, the knees have been aching. We couldn't sleep. We couldn't. In the PTA meeting, I used to tell them that when did these children become eggs that we break at a little impact? What is happening? So that is what we have now. Then in our own days, reading culture was there. Your free period in the school, you want to go to the library, you borrow books, you take it home, you read, and the rest. When I got to a level, I opened a library. I looked for a room there. I made it a library. Anyway, to the glory of God, some students were going there. But you will see that it's not something that they really love to do. So I had to put library period in one of the periods in their classes so that to force them to be in the library. Just go there, even if it is your note that you will take there to read, take it there and read. Because that is what helped us when we were in school.
I see. Thank you so much. My guest on this program, Feminine Scope, is Mrs. Mariam Afolashade Oresanya, a retired principal from Ilewo Community High School, Ilewo Relay, and now a school administrator. Away from your career, growing up and as a girl, of course, you look forward to certain things that you want to do, like you want to be on your own. Let me escape from home. Every girl child will want to escape from home. That I want to be free. I want to be free. So at what age did you become free? And at what age did you get married? Who is the man? How did you meet him?
Thank you. At age 22, 23, I became free. When I went to the college, I was not staying with daddy again. So I rented an apartment and I was
and daddy released you?
He released me reluctantly because he even told me that he could not have two pots in the same town in Ijebu. It's either you come home or you forfeit feeding allowance. So I dared him. I said yes, I was ready to forfeit feeding allowance. So my sisters were just helping, but he
wanted you to be going from home.
From home.
Wow.
And that is a Luba area. So Ijagun every day. So, but I exploited his weakness. I knew that his weakness is education. I said I was his girl.
Yes.
And I was brilliant and submissive. And so I would go home and tell him, you don't tell my daddy you want to buy clothes or you want to buy this, he won't provide. He will tell you he didn't have such money, but tell him you want to buy books and school materials, because he loved education, he will give you. So I was exploiting that. So every time I would go home and told him we need certain things.
So you buy Dick, Sean, read 4 books.
You know, he was a teacher. He was a teacher, so I can't do that. But I still knew how I got my ways into him. So that he said he would not pay for. He was paying for it unknowingly.
So even when you were young, you were doing a tail bill.
Yes.
Okay, so
survival instincts now.
How did you meet your husband?
While working at the first place where I started work, that Ayepe Comprehensive High School, I had a friend that we were together in the school. So I went one day to visit her, and there this young man came in, and he whispered certain things into my ears, and before you knew it, God sanctioned it.
You don't want to tell us the silent whispers.
And the silent whispers, you know now.
I don't know. That's why I asked you. Maybe I can learn from you.
Okay, when he came in and saw me, that my friend happened to be his elder brother's wife.
Okay.
So he went to the wife, that your friend, I like, please help me talk to her. Then the husband, the brother, now heard it and said, so his mommy busy, you will leave such a sensitive assignment to. You better go and tell her yourself that you liked her. And so he came. So, he was asking questions. We know that those questions will lead us to. So he was asking those questions, and at the end of the day, when I was about leaving for my home, he followed together with another sister. They escorted me. I think they were about 3. At a point, one went back. At a point, the second one went back. But this man followed me to where I lived.
They were strategic in their plans.
Yes.
Okay. To the glory of God, how is Daddy?
He's fine.
He's fine. Both of you are based in Abeokuta?
Yes.
Wow, that's great.
We are running the school together.
I see. That's great. So at least you get something engaging both of you.
Yes.
That's really thoughtful of you. I want your words of advice for this generation. We've said a lot about them. We've said a lot about parenting. And I want you to talk to them directly now.
Okay.
Yes.
To my young boys and girls out there, I want to let them know that there's nothing that we can compare with education. Education is life itself. It's not preparing one for life's journey. It's life in itself. So they should take it as life. I want them to know that with education, there is no door that you cannot unlock. There's no door you cannot unlock. It's a bridge between the indigent and the affluent in the society. So they should know that. I know there is something going around. Education is a scam. Nobody should listen to that, because we have it that if you think education is expensive, you better try ignorance and see what it is like. We have people out there who were not opportuned to get formal education, and they were rich. But after some time, they realized that they have missed something, and they were going back. Many of them, they were employing teachers to take them through education in the corridors of their houses and the rest. Your destiny lies in your hands. Nobody will live your life for you as children. So it is better. And whatever is worth doing at all is worth doing well. If you want to go to school, go and make sure you put all that it takes into it so that you will excel, because excelling is the most important. Education is result oriented. We want to see what you have. I'm very sure that a young girl or boy that is well educated, yes, it's like what the Bible says, that yes, that he took people from the dunghill and made them to sit with kings and princes. So they should know that. And also, they should embrace reading culture. They should try to read. I know that there are so many things competing with their reading today. We have the AI, we have the artificial intelligence, we have the TikTok, YouTube, and all the rest, Instagram, competing with them. They should please look at those things as distractions and take your destiny in your hands. Malcolm X, he said something, and I will quote it. He said, education is a passport to the future, because tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. So get prepared. Prepare for your future. Take hold of education, and I pray that by the grace of God, you will excel in Jesus' name.
Amen. With that said, do you party?
Yes.
You party?
Yes.
Wow.
And you can see my gele.
Your gele. This gele is gele Madam Kufo.
Yes.
So what type of music do you listen to?
Gospel music, and I also love listening to Sunny Ade.
You like King Sunny Ade? I'm sure when you go to parties, is it gospel music that you listen to at parties?
No, it's not really gospel.
Okay, for the purpose of this program, what type of music would you want?
King Sunny Ade.
King Sunny Ade. So
let's go for appreciation.
Okay.
Appreciation, mo dúpẹ́ oníbùwọ̀rẹ́ bàbá gbọ́ pẹ́ mi. Appreciation, mo dúpẹ́ oníbùwọ̀rẹ́ bàbá gbọ́ pẹ́ mi. Ẹni bá ń ràròjinlẹ̀ ló lè mọ pẹ́dá ẹ̀mí yóò gbé ọ̀gá Olúwa. Ẹni bá ń ràròjinlẹ̀ ló lè mọ pẹ́dá ẹ̀mí yóò gbé ọ̀gá Olúwa.
That's it on today's edition of Feminine Scope on OGBC 90.5 FM. Again, I thank my guest, Mrs Mariam Afolashade Oresanya, a retired principal from Ilewo Community High School, Ilewo Rile, and now a school administrator. I thank my producer, Temilade Tijani, assisted by Fumilayo Akintoye. My studio manager is Samuel Adeneye. My name is Toyin Sogbesan, so you call me TS. Till next week, when we bring you another strong woman. Do enjoy your weekend. Good morning.